Good morning, everyone. It's the number one rule for greatness. Okay, it starts. The number one rule. What is that number one rule for greatness? We'll talk about it in just a moment. Let's review the last couple of weeks. Two weekends ago, we looked at Jesus casting out demons. Now, we said it was interesting that the demons listen to Jesus, but we don't always. And we looked at the fact that if we truly want to live a life of greatness, then we have to grow in our possession of ourselves, because when we possess ourselves, then we can lay ourselves down in love. So life is about love. Love is about laying down your life. So the more we possess ourselves, the more we can love. So the reality is, though, that there are many parts of our life that have come under the lordship of Jesus Christ. We can see how those actions are producing human flourishing in ourselves and around and others. But then there are those parts of our hearts that are repetitive sins, things that we just can't get beyond. The difficulties and the challenges there. Those are the things that, whether they are small or whether they are grave, whether they're just merely sinful or now they've kind of moved into an area of addiction in our lives. Either way, we turn to the Lord and we acknowledge, Lord Jesus, I cannot seem to get beyond this sin. And I know that you have power over this sin, and I surrender my entire self, but especially this part of my life, to you. And that surrender is a process, and it's something that happens daily. So we even talked about some of those areas that could be repetitive sins. Maybe it's impatience, a constant, repetitive sin of impatience. Maybe it's food. Our struggles are with food or alcohol. Maybe prescription drugs. Maybe illegal drugs. Maybe our struggles are with gambling or pornography or the internet. So I'm looking around. I don't see anybody on their phones today. But a lot of times we just can't let go of that phone. We've got to look at it all the time. But the reality is that we can get over those repetitive sins. The Lord has the power, but we just have to acknowledge it. The greater we possess ourselves, the greater we will be able to love. Last week, we heard Jesus say, I have to go to the other towns and villages. He had a clear mission. And we invited at least one of the classes at each Mass here from St. Joseph the Worker Grade School, and they demonstrated the fact that they were and very clearly had an understanding of their mission, and that their mission came from the gospel. So the question went out to us, what is your mission? What is my mission? In general, the Lord made it clear. Your mission and my mission is to go and to make more disciples of Jesus Christ. Not fans of Jesus. Oh yeah, I like that. I go to church. It enriches me. I feel good about it. Okay. Or are we disciples? Are we followers of Jesus Christ? See, when you have a sense of mission, you can go through all types of hardships, and you can bear it with a certain strength where if somebody doesn't know their mission and they just hear a bump in the road, all of a sudden that's a reason to stop. There will always be reasons to stop. But it's our sense of understanding our mission that will see us through. And that kind of ties in today with the number one rule. The number one rule in a spiritual life is obedience. Okay? Not blind obedience. Oh, I guess that's almost like faith. People say, well, faith is just, I just accept it on faith. That is not the faith of the Scriptures. That is not the faith that revealed by Jesus Christ. Remember, faith is a supernatural knowing. I know it. It's consistent with reason, but it's something that I know. That is the gift that we have been given in our baptism, and it is being stirred by, well, in the baptismal homily, I'll remind us of a couple of things. Number one, the first words that we hear our children say are usually dada, dad, 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 then mom, then no. That's a good one. All right. Then we get to mine. And then the real kicker. Why? Okay. Why? I see teachers there saying, oh my, yes. Why? And that's a good thing. And it's part of obedience. Really, when we're saying obedience, we're talking about obedience to your conscience. Now, what is your conscience? It's that gooey center right here. It's what I feel, and I got to follow my feeling. Survey says, no, that is not our conscience. Our conscience clearly is our last, best judgment. So God gives us a mind to know the truth and a will to choose it. And you and I are responsible for forming our conscience through the natural light of reason and the supernatural light of faith. Jesus revealed who we are, and his teachings have been unfolding for the last 2,000 years. Do you struggle with some of the teachings of the church? That's okay. It's okay to continue to struggle. Now, it's not okay just to say, well, I give up. Nope. Not accepting it. That's the way it goes. Well, we've kind of closed ourselves off there. We continue to ask the question why and form our conscience, because ultimately we have to follow it. It's our last best judgment. So here in the gospel, Jesus heals the leper, and then he turns to him and he says, don't tell anybody. Why do you think he said that? That doesn't make sense. Well, actually, it does. And sometimes we don't fully understand what we're asked to do. We understand in general, but we don't fully understand it. We understand it enough to follow it, and yet sometimes we don't. The leper didn't listen to Jesus. And what happened? Jesus had a mission, and his mission was to preach and to reveal who God is and who we are. He could not do that after this man went and shouted, I've been healed. After that, he couldn't even enter the town to try and preach his message because everybody just wanted him to heal them. That was it. The healing was part of the mission, and it had its place, but he didn't listen. Okay? God will bring us step by step down our path of greatness. We will understand to a certain point. We have to continue to choose his will for our life. Father Dennis? Yes, Excellency. It's time for you to move. Okay, not from this assignment. Okay, all right. Although some of you might be happy with that, I don't know, perhaps. But when he came and he said, "You have to move," from a very comfortable place for me, had been there for 7 years, very comfortable, and I kind of understood, but I know that the Lord has a plan. He's got a plan for each and every one of us. Okay? Are we willing to understand just enough to say yes to Him in obedience. Because when we do, we continue down the path of greatness.